What's up, guys? So I recently posted a video talking about Diamond filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy and how, despite what a lot of people are saying online, no, this is not the death of the comic book industry, not even close. And in that video, I mentioned that back in 1997, the comic book industry almost did collapse because of distribution, among other things. And I thought I would tell you a little bit about that here. So back in the early 90s, there were actually 3 comic book distributors. There was Diamond, there was Capital City, and there was Heroes World. And Heroes World was the 3rd largest of those 3 distributors. Marvel, in 1994, decided that they wanted to do their own distribution, so they bought Heroes World to be their exclusive distributor. Well, that sounded like a good idea on paper, to own your own distribution company to distribute your own product, but that actually had some pretty negative ripple effects. When Marvel started distributing their books through their newly acquired distributor, Heroes World, that reduced the volume of product from the other 2 distributors by about 30 to 40%. And Marvel Comics, if you guys remember in the 90s, were huge. You take all of that product away from other distributors, and all of a sudden they're in trouble because their operating costs stayed the same, but they had a lot less volume to distribute. They had, fewer orders coming in from shops because they didn't have Marvel anymore. And that caused a real big problem for both Diamond and Capital City. So to save both of their companies, both Diamond and Capital City started negotiating with all of the other publishers, saying basically, please let us be your sole exclusive distributor. Forget about the other guy. Both companies did this with all the other publishers. Diamond was the one who eventually won, and in 1996, Diamond bought Capital City, leaving only 2 distributors, Diamond and Heroes World. Now again, at the time, Marvel owned Heroes World, which means that Heroes World was only distributing Marvel Comics, and it's the only place that shops could order Marvel Comics from. And they just couldn't handle the sheer volume of orders for Marvel books, because again, Marvel was huge in the 90s, right? And they could not handle the capacity. There were billing errors, there were late shipments. Shops didn't like having to order books from 2 different places when they had just been getting everything from one distributor before. There were increased shipping costs, there were lower discounts, and all of that together was not a good deal for comic shops. At the same time, the comic book bubble was bursting. The speculation market was crashing. People weren't coming in to buy new number 1s anymore. There were way more number 1 issues being produced than what were being bought. So all of that stuff together, the distribution woes of Marvel Comics, the speculation bubble bursting, all of that together caused a lot of shops to shut down. And all of this hodgepodge of stuff all happening at the same time really nearly did collapse the comic book industry. After all that happened, in 1997, Heroes World went out of business and Marvel went back to Diamond, and that's how Diamond became the sole distributor of all comics for 20-something years. That's how they got the monopoly. And that was a much, much bigger deal back then than Diamond filing Chapter 11 now, when they are not the primary distributor anymore. So, like I said in my other video, if the comic industry can weather all of that craziness in the 90s, they will definitely be fine from this, given the fact that Diamond is not the primary distributor of most comics anymore. So anyway, guys, I hope I explained that well enough. I just wanted to give you a little bit of a background as to the crazy distribution wars of the 90s. I don't know if anybody calls it that, but it was crazy. The 90s were crazy when it came to comic books. There was all kinds of stuff going on. And like I said, if the comic book industry could weather that storm back then, it will definitely weather this slight rainfall now.